Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about the Pilot Custom 823. The model that I have is in the transparent smoke finish. This is a resin with some gold trimmed appointments. See there it says Pilot on the clip. It's a very firm clip, very stiff with the oversized ball. On the band it says, has 3 stars, says Custom 823, 3 more stars. Pilot, made in Japan. Nice engraving. This is a medium. I'm one of those people that likes to keep the stickers on, and don't ask me why. I have no idea why. There's the band down there at the back knob. You just unscrew that. It's a screw cap. There's the feed. There's the nib. This is a size 15 medium 14 karat gold nib. Very nice size nib. There's a section. It's fairly smooth. There's just a small step up there. And you can see in the right light, you can actually see how much ink that you have, but it has to be just right. So that's the overview. Here's the box. It's the basic box. I bought this from a Japanese seller on Amazon. The price was $224. This is Pilot. And all you have there is some instructions, the plastic it came in, and there we have the standard clip tag. It shows us a medium nib, and it says Custom 823. Fairly simple box setup. As far as size comparisons, we have the Lamy All-Star, just taller than. I have a Mont Blanc 144, just pretty small. And this is the copycat, the Wingsung 699. I'll put that right beside it. The Wingsung, although it is a knockoff, it's just a tad bit taller. And I'll talk a little bit about what I think of the Wingsung. But that's the size. And the weight, it's a solidly built pen, no doubt. But it's a balanced weight. It's not too heavy. It's not too light. It's a 30.3, 30.4. And then uncapped, it is 20.6. Not bad. We'll go ahead and compare the Wingsung while I have the scale out. Wingsung is 30.8, just comparable. And this should be about in the 20s. It's 21.0. So it's pretty close. So overall, this is a nice pen. I did have some issues when I was inking it with Diamine. I had Earl Grey in here, and it would hard start, it would skip. I did go back to the listing on Amazon, and the seller was saying that these pens are particular. I think that's how they phrased it. And they recommended that to use Pilot ink. So that's what I did for this review. I decided to give it a fair shot and put some Pilot Iroshizuku ink in it. And so we'll see how that performs. I didn't write with it too much because of the hard starts and the skipping. I know you're supposed to vent it, and I did do that. Just unscrew it so that it'll flow. I did all of that, and still it would it would skip randomly. So we're going to try this Pilot ink and see how it performs. So we'll learn together. And I also have the same ink in the Wingsung 699. So get a good fill of ink in here. I think it's all the way up there. And that was just on one shot. I didn't, try to do it again to get it more full, but just in one shot it went all the way up there. So there's a good amount of ink in it. I didn't want to fill it up. I just wanted to see if the Pilot ink helped the situation at all. So right now I'm going to start with a writing sample and give you a little feel for how that looks. Get these out of the way. I'll keep the Wingsung. I'll talk a little bit about that. And I'll do a writing sample with the Wingsung as well, in case you're interested. So, so the pen, I can already feel the wetness difference between the Earl Grey and the Pilot ink. So we'll see if that helps the skipping at all. Pilot Custom B23. Wow. What a world of difference. I hope it continues. The nib is a size number 15. Pilot 15. It's a medium 14 karat gold. And it's ultra smooth, but it's not slippery. And the ink is, try not to write Diamine. I just thought the Earl Grey would just look, so nice in that, in this smoky pen. Pilot Iroshizuku. And this one is ajisai, which is one of my favorite inks of the Iroshizukus. It's a nice purple with some shading. And so you can see here, it hasn't skipped. It has some flecks. Not too much, but some. Very nice. It's much better with this. I wish I had taken, did some writing samples with the Diamine before I changed it out, so you can see the difference. But yeah, it's really nice. Much improved. So I'll go into, again, this was Amazon. It was $224, which I don't think is bad for a Pilot gold nib pen, fountain pen. So pros and cons. I'll do this with my left hand. So I would say it's a classy look. Has classy looks. If you compare it to the Mont Blanc, very similar, except for the size. It's quality build. You can feel it. That palette quality. Compare the two. I can definitely feel a difference. Is it $200? This was $29. Is it $200 difference? I think if you don't know, if you're new to fountain pens and you don't know, It may not, but you know, I definitely feel the difference, and just the feel of it. So I like it has a nice big nib with a little flex, not much. So the comfort, and it's comfortable on multiple levels. It's a good weight. And I think it's a perfect size. It's not too girthy, and it's uh, not too slim, at least for me. And I'll say good grip. Um, I do feel the threads a little bit. They aren't rough, but there is, compared to the Wingsung, I did notice that the Wingsung, the threads aren't done as well, but there's no step up. So right here, it's just a smooth transition. So this actually feels a tad bit better. And the Wingsung has just a slightly longer section, just by a tad. So very comfortable pen, and I would say this is I would say it's good for lefties, and that it's a fairly dry writer. Even with this Pilot Iroshizuku ink, it's still pretty dry. It dries really fast, and with the Diamine, it's even drier. But if you're a lefty and you write like this, like I do here, then it doesn't really matter. And I'll say this is it's a good what I call a one pen. So along with, like I said before, the Lamy, not the Safari, the Lamy 2000, I would consider a good one pen. The Palette Justice, it's a good one pen. If you I just want one fountain pen. I don't need a whole ton of fountain pens. You can't really go wrong with the Custom A23, I think. So as far as cons, um, I really don't have any cons right now. Before I did, but I would say the performance, at least for my pen, um, may be ink dependent. And I guess it makes sense that a palette pen would prefer palette ink, but the performance is so much better than with the Diamine. It's amazing the difference that it's made. I really don't have any other cons. 224, I still, it's expensive, but I don't think it's that bad. So, but that's what my thoughts on the Custom A23. Overall, very solid. I'll be honest, I was regretting it a little bit when I had the Diamond in it. I've had this pen for about a month, and it's only had the Earl Grey in it. So for a whole month, I've been kind of I don't know about this pen, but based on the performance right now, I look forward to writing with it quite a bit more. So I'll talk a little bit about this Wingsung 699. I bought this off of Amazon as well. It was $29. And you can see the engraving. It's kind of rudimentary. It's almost like they were taking taking some cues from Mont Blanc there. And yeah, this is a knockoff. I'm not a big fan of knockoffs. I prefer pen makers with original ideas, but I like pens. I like hoarding pens. So I wanted to give this a try, and just to see. But it's a sturdy clip, and they really didn't make any effort to change that at all. Really not much effort. A little bit of a size difference, and there's something there. But when I was, I cleaned this out and I added ajisai as well, just so it'd be even. Not really comparison, but playing field here. And I noticed that the vac, the lever, or whatever you want to call it, it's a little flimsy. Didn't feel as solid as the Pilot. But, I mean, you expect that it wouldn't for $29. And if you guys are familiar with Doodlebud's channel, he did a really good breakdown of the Wingsung 699 and the Pilot Custom 823. He actually took them apart and compared the parts. So that's a really good review if you want to really get into the weeds and see the real pros and cons. I just touched the surface, here of the pros and cons. But that's a pretty good looking nib. It just says wings and medium. And there's the feed, and there's the section. No real step up. And you can see that the ink. And this wasn't as good of a feel as with the Pilot. It took some going back and forth to get a good feel in this one. But it still feels really good in the hand. So just write a little bit with this. And both of these feel good, posted or not. So that's another pro of the Custom 823, that you can post it or not. Either way, it's comfortable. It's not heavy. Either way. So this is the Wingsung 699. See, there's a little bit of a skip there on the nib. It's a medium. Stainless steel, and it's very nice. It's a little bit, just a tiny bit more feedback than the 823, but it feels really good for $29. And again, the ink is the same. Pilot Iroshizuku, ajisai. Probably no flex in the stainless steel, but a little bit of line weight variation. Nothing really to write home about. But nice. I will say that the color doesn't seem quite as deep as the Custom 823. And that may be just, maybe this Wingsung is a drier writer than the Custom, but it's not bad at all. And the nib size, I guess the Pilot, just like a lot of Pilots and Japanese pens, the Pilot may be a little bit on the finer side. But let's see. Yes, it's not bad at all for $29. again, this is, I mean, they definitely do feel different. That is just so much smoother and wetter with that Pilot ink. So I'm not really going to go into depth and the pros and cons of this pen, because I didn't intend on this to be a comparison. I just intended to kind of talk about this briefly. But I'll say it's a good price. It functions well. It's a fountain pen, and it functions well. Cons, and I won't even say it's not as good. Of course, it's not as good. Um, it's a knockoff, and that just depends on how you feel about knockoffs. But I mean, I guess you can, if you look at this Mont Blanc. I think this Mont Blanc is from the 80s or the 90s. I mean, I guess you could say that they're all kind of copying each other a bit. But this is just kind of a classy look for a pen, I think. But, it's 29 bucks. Give it a try. It writes well. But, yeah, I intended the focus to be on the 823, which I'm very happy with the way it performed today. So that's my thought on the Pilot Custom 823 with a little bit of Wingsung 699 thrown in, and maybe a little, as far as looks, Mont Blanc thrown in. But as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to my rambles. Again, a good video to watch for a really good comparison of these two pens is a Doodle Buds breakdown. So until next time, take care.